white cloaks and right?
I was tempted to skip right over this video and talk about the shockingly watchable episode 4 next, but I was told by everybody that was stupid and I should just get off my ass and finish this one, so let's talk about episode 3. Episode 3 was quite the artistic achievement in that it managed to be many things at one time. It was a CSI installment, it was a political drama, it was a kung fu movie, and it was a fantasy show. And you're not going to believe this, but it was horrible at all of those things. The show starts with the Forsaken meeting up to gab about their evil schemes, and this is where Robin reveals that he's the most powerful person in the universe. But I talked about that in the episode 2 review. If you want to see it, click here. We then launch into the CSI portion of the episode, and I was truly floored by how bad this was. There have been roughly 20,000 seasons of procedural boomer cop dramas made by now, and while none of them have been good, I'm not sure any of them have ever been as bad as the investigation we just witnessed. We start out with Nynaeve and Elaine interviewing the two captured black sisters Caillou and Porkchop. In the books, the captured black sister Amiko Nagoyan informs Nynaeve and Egwene correctly that Liandrin is in Tanchico. In the show, neither one of the Dark Sisters tell Nynaeve and Elaine anything, so the entire conversation and sequence is useless.
We wasted our time with Joy and Amiko. They were both lying.
Scenes from the books existing in the show exclusively as a nod to book readers aren't helping anybody, Rafe. So Elida has the shakes and spurgs out and Min comes to help her. There's a long shot of her bracelet, so I assume that's going to be something significant. I can't wait to see where that goes. Undoubtedly, it's going to be mind-bendingly dumb. Then we're back to CSI with the girls back at the hiding location of Liandrin's 100-year-old son, and we discover that, apparently in adherence to an absurd religion that has never once been mentioned or observed until this exact scene, Liandrin was obligated to make this weird symbol in the spot where her son died. And she is such a firm believer in this religion that despite forswearing all oaths to become a Dark Friend, that even though she knows she has to scour her son's death chamber of all evidence, she was unwilling to destroy the mark that is a clue to her location. Let's pretend, hypothetically, that Liandrin had been shown to be a religious fanatic for the previous 2 seasons. This would still be retarded. But to try this with zero setup at all?
Really?
Elida then wants to have a conversation with Siwan, and Leanne and Varen tell her no, that only sitters can arrange an audience with the Amyrlin, which is dumb, but okay. Then she goes to talk to the Red Sitters, presumably to ask them to arrange an audience for her, which makes sense. But then she does not do that and instead just calls them a bunch of bitches for not going into the tower during the Liandrin trial, which she's right about, but is also utterly unhelpful in getting a meeting with the Amyrlin. I have no idea what Elida was trying to accomplish here, and I don't think the show does either. We then get to see Perrin mourning the death of his wife. Again. It has been 5 fucking years since this idiot killed his fake-ass wife. Everybody is tired of it. Can we please move on? But that's not the worst part. Of all the amazing scenes that this show has ruined, this one might have rocketed up directly to my number 1 spot. You see, this scene is being aped from The Shadow Rising, and it is the single most emotionally wrenching scene in the entire series. Perrin is mourning the death of his family at the hands of Padan Fain and the White Cloaks, and it hits you like a gut punch. His shitty-ass wife is a poor substitute for that, but at least there's an attempt to keep the scene between the lines. And then, Alanna shows up and proceeds to hijack the scene into being about her and her... I don't even know what you call this fucker. Boyfriend isn't the right word. Lover isn't derisive enough. Her fuck buddy? Sure, her fuck buddy that she could have healed but didn't because he needed to die for cheap drama. Her fuck buddy whose ashes she has painted on her face for some stupid reason. I do not give a fuck about Alanna's stupid perverted throuple, and to compare it to Perrin's legitimate family is not just stupid, but legitimately and deeply insulting. Dane Bornhold is up next, and he's got Natty Cawthon and the kids in the wagon? I'm sure I would care a lot more about this if Perrin wasn't legitimately a murderer who should be punished for his crimes, but if holding these 3 captives for a couple of days is going to get a serial murderer off the streets, I'm actually probably alright with that. We get our first look at Lord Luke and Fail then, and damn. I've long since maintained that Perrin getting with Fael over Berlin was a truly horrendous choice, but damn, if Fael is going to look like this, Perrin, you need to make better choices, buddy. This is unforgivable. Then Min comes in and is mad that Matt is mad at her for selling him out to Ishamael, and she tries to justify this by saying how Ishamael was going to take away her powers, which still is not a good reason to sell out your friend. He should be mad at you. But also, why would you believe that? Ishamael is a Forsaken. There's a way better chance he's lying to you and going to capture you, leash you like a dog, and walk you around so you can tell him what you're seeing in your visions. The idea that Ishamael was going to play it straight is just fucking laughable.
Really?
Matt at least has the stones to tell her to eat shit. We then get the two geniuses planning. They determine that Liandrin is in Tanchico because the bracelet that was stolen looks like the collar that the Seanchan used, and that the Seanchan landed in Falma, which is near Tanchico. But, like, the Black Sisters stole a whole bunch of other shit, and also, Tanchico isn't really near Falma, so just fuck it, I guess. Then a gray man tries to kill the girls, and Elaine blasts him. They find the gray man dead, and Varen walks up, and the show continues to just master dialogue. These two fucking buffoons ask each other why the other is here, but like, Siuan very explicitly ordered them to work together. Did Varen not give them access to her notes? They just broke into a room and then demanded to know why she was around? I can all but guarantee that this scene goes nowhere, by the way. This is just a book scene plucked up and inserted with nothing connected to it. Remember the fade nailed to the door from last season? Yeah, pretty much just like that. Then we get the scene that made me laugh the hardest this episode. Liandrin comes back to her former home because she needs to paint the stupid fucking symbol in the spot that she gave birth to her son at. And she finds a guy marrying off child brides, and she decides to massacre everybody. Of all the ham-fisted amateur hour attempts to generate pathos that this show has attempted and failed, this shit is truly top tier. I can hear Rafe Judkins' voice asking, "See guys, she's attacking child predators. Isn't she cool? Isn't she complex? Isn't she multi-layered?" This may be the clumsiest emotional manipulation attempt I've ever experienced, and I played through Neil Druckmann making Ellie shoot the puppies in The Last of Us 2. I also can't believe that Liandrin was just able to rip this guy's heart out like a Mortal Kombat kid. My fellow White Cloak Dane swears that Matt's memories and Tiny Sedai are going to have a meetup at some point this season, and I can actually see the strings setting this up. God help us all. And then, as if the show hadn't gotten stupid enough, we get to my favorite part of the episode. This is the masterful political maneuvering that this show has managed to come up with. Elaida first tells Min that she knows Min is a spy. She then has Min pinky promise not to tell Siuan any information that she confesses to her spy then and there. And then, Elaida just tells Min that the Reds are going to call for a vote in the tower to do something to counter Siuan's plan. Based on some of the following scenes, Min then scurries up to Siuan, tells her the secret, and with zero thought that this might be a trap or counter-intel, or Elaida might be misleading Min for some reason at all, Siuan just falls for it. This shows brilliant political maneuvering with which this entire White Tower ploy is going to be based on, is because Siuan is too stupid to question the veracity of information provided by one of her arch-rivals. She just believes it.
Uh-oh, retard alert!
Of all the characters in the show that have gotten destroyed by these writers, and there have been a lot, Siuan may well be getting it the worst. I don't think she's been right about a single thing even back to season 1. Remember the scheming from the Fuck Hut Terangriel thing? Yeah, that was funny. Egwene and Bear then talk about the world of dreams and how Egwene is being choked by somebody still alive. It is embarrassing that Moiraine didn't figure this out considering her freak out last season, demonstrating she knows Lanfear is running around in Tar. Rand too, if I'm being fair. He is so dumb. Rand and Lanfear then talk, and Lanfear pitches him that they might be able to use the Sarkhanen and Kalendor to defeat the Dark One. Rip King to the Choden Call. You were cool. Too cool for this show. Also, the Sarkinen is a ter'angreal for women now. Here's my blistering hot take. The Sarkinen was stupid even in the books. It showed up for the first time 12 chapters from the end of the series and was a plot device to give Damandred a weapon to make him think he could take Rand on. It was never needed and was stupid. It didn't need to be changed to Girl Calendar. We get Moiraine and Lan in the sweat tents, and my god does this suck. Not even titties can save this disaster. Lan wincing in pain at how hot the sweat tents are, and then being accused of forgetting his duty by this rando is just annoying. This character has been obliterated. I don't even know what he's supposed to be doing here. Perrin then says he's going to turn himself in and is promptly told to sit down and shut up by Egwene's mom. Perrin this season, through 3 episodes, has managed to abandon Rand and run home out of fear and get bossed around by Egwene's new mom. This guy might suck more than Lan at this point. Alanna and Maxim argue, and Maxim asks a very smart question.
And so we're here, in the bloody 2 rivers. Why, Alanna?
Alanna does not have an answer because the show didn't bother to come up with one. Between pointing out Siuan was dumb in episode 1 and asking legitimate questions here, Maxim may be the smartest character in the series so far. God help us all. Perrin and Faile talk, and every time I see these two on screen, my first instinct is that this is supposed to be Aram and not Faile. These two have literally negative chemistry. This flirting was written by somebody who has never flirted in their life. The fact that there is zero shipping shit on Twitter about these two might be the most damning indictment of how poor these scenes are. Mat and Min talk, and Min sees the vision of the red stone doorway and Mat hanging. Please kill Mat off, Rafe. I am begging you. Please do it. Mat grabs Min and Galad doesn't like that, understandably so. Leanne then goes and announces that the Amyrlin is sending the Red Aja sitter off to fight Mazrim Taim in Saldea. This is because of Elida's plot earlier, but if the Amyrlin can just dispatch sisters whenever she wants, up to and including the sitters, why the fuck did we put up with most of Season 1? Couldn't Siuan have sent Moiraine off to some bullshit mission to give her an opportunity to look for a dragon? This was a huge problem in Season 1, and we're just hand-waving it away now? Seriously? Perrin then gives a motivational speech? Did they remove this guy's vocal cords? Even when he's trying to give a speech to a large group of people outside, he's still whisper talking. Then we get the quarterstaff fight between Mat and the princes, and if I'm being honest, it could have been worse. It could have been infinitely better. The choreography was middling to poor, and it missed a lot of the setup that made the book scenes so impactful. But if I'm being honest, I fully expected Nynaeve to have this scene, so my expectations were through the floor, which probably helped quite a bit. I did like this kind of proud smile from Nynaeve, though. That was well done. I absolutely hate that this is billed as being because Mat is getting his memories back and occasionally is going to have flashes of competence when the plot demands it, just to break up his general incompetence and buffoonery, and not because Mat Cauthon is a stud on his own and Abel Cauthon raised a winner. But that's what this show does now. We get another scene of Perrin and Faile talking. For the life of me, I can't remember what it was about. I watched this scene twice, and I kept zoning out trying to watch it. Elaine, Nynaeve, and Mat leave for Tanchico then? Min follows them for some reason. Things are going to get kind of awkward once they try to get on a boat. Then Liandrin paints the dead child symbol on the floor. I need you to stop laughing so I can finish the video. And comes out to talk to Tiny Sedai about the male Adom. She informs Tiny Sedai that somewhere in Tanchico is the collar. I have no idea how she knows this. The only Forsaken she seems to have been in contact with is Lanfear. And I doubt Lanfear is sending her off to find the slave collar for Rand, but what the hell do I know? Maybe Ishii told her about it before he just gave up on life and laid down? I don't know. I doubt we're going to get an answer. Moghedien then creeps off, and that's the end of the episode. I really don't even know where to start with this. Rand did absolutely fuck all. Perrin's storyline is downright insulting and promises immense cringe in the immediate future. Mat had his moments, but is inevitably done for the season. The CSI plot with Nynaeve and Elaine was laugh-out-loud terrible. Elida's political maneuvering was written for a 6-year-old, and Siuan still fell for it. Robin's still unfathomably broken from a power-scaling standpoint, and Liandrin somehow ripped a guy's heart out with her bare hands. If you watched this far, I really do appreciate it. We hit 1,000 subscribers the other day, which absolutely blows my mind. Hopefully it's keeping you entertained. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting the button. I also need to thank my wife who helps me with these videos every time. She makes the fantastic thumbnails for this channel and does so many of the technical things that can make YouTube tough. With that said, walk in the light, everybody.